What's going on, guys? We are back once again, and we are going to be discussing another movie, The Last Voyage of the Demeter. Now, again, this is a passage from the Bram Stoker's Dracula book. Now, if you guys are fans of that movie or vampire movie films in general, I highly recommend you checking this out. I did enjoy this film, very surprisingly, I did. It's got a very interesting feel to it. It makes you feel like you're at a older movie. It makes you feel like you're actually in a horror movie when you're watching this. And I like older films like this. So again, we have one of the main stars, Corey Hawkins, playing Clemens. We also have Liam Cunningham right next to him playing Captain Elliot. Also Aslan Francilia, I believe I say her last name, playing as Anna. Now, the entire premises of this film is you have where Clemens is a doctor and he gets recommended onto the ship by after saving the grandson of Captain Elliot and becoming the ship's doctor slash crewman and slash not really advisor, but more like just your normal, just like I said, crewman. Now, what happens is slowly throughout the movie is you got a lot of people that the locals are scared of the symbol. What we see is the dragon symbol, which was House of the Dragon for Dracula. Now, when we see this, us as the viewers know what this is. Others do not, unless they're the locals. Once on the ship, think that they're just it's local nonsense. Now, what happens is slowly in the movie we see after Anna is discovered, who they think is a stowaway, and Clemens tries to take care of her, giving her blood transfusions because she's dying slowly, and he's able to save her. And then when they slowly figure out that something else is on the ship, that he starts killing the animals, even starts going after the crewmen, and then later they discover that there is a threat on board, and they have no choice but to fight it and also figure out exactly what is going on. Now, the only one that really knows what's going on is Anna. She was unfortunately given to Dracula as like a sacrifice to her village, and he was going to use her to pretty much use her as blood storage to basically feed on her from the time from Romania to England until he was able to escape the ship and be able to go into England. Now, what's really interesting about this film is we see where this is kind of old school. It makes you feel like you're actually in a horror movie. They kind of gave the Bram Stoker type of look. The way they made Dracula, they didn't make him look human. They made him actually look like an old type of vampiric bat, and still humanoid, but still can fly and use wings and be able to. The cross did not do anything to him. There was a few scenes where you would think the cross would actually work. It did not. There was a couple characters that did get turned into a possible vampire, but it was more like minions than vampires. They still burned in daylight, but it still made you wonder exactly if they bit someone, would they be able to turn? And that was not the case. It just made them more like mindless slaves of Dracula is mainly what this was. And it made you feel like you did not know who was going to survive in this film, because you have where Clemens, he does everything he can to make sure, first off, that everyone can try to survive during this journey, but at the same time still try to be able to make sense out of reality from the supernatural. And he still does not understand how the supernatural can be the supernatural from a scientific standpoint. And by the tail end of this film, there is a chance for a possible sequel if this movie does well. And at the same time, the only survivor from this is going to be very interesting on where it goes from here. If we see Van Helsing at some point within England, and also everything else that transpired in England during the story of Bram Stoker's Dracula. So again, it's going to be a very interesting setback of how they produce this film. You have where you have this entity that's on board. You don't know where it is. You know it can kill you at any moment. You're not safe anywhere on this ship. It's a confined space. You're out in the middle of nowhere. You're out in the middle of storms, and the weapons that you are using is pretty much pointless against this supernatural entity. You shoot it, it's not going to really do anything. Even if you stab it, it may not do anything. The only thing that can possibly kill it is sunlight, or stabbing it through the heart, from what they can suspect of. Now again, I'm not trying to give too much away of this film, but I do highly recommend you guys, if you have not seen this film, to really give it a shot and to either go to the theaters or watch it online if you're able to do it at some point, or maybe pick it up around, some point when it comes out on DVD. It's a very good, I would say, nostalgia to the original Bram Stoker's Dracula for a lot of fans out there, including myself. I do remember watching it. It does have some of those moments where you know what's going to happen. Some of it is kind of predictable. Some of it is not, but at the same time, it gives you that of, okay, who's going to survive and who's not going to survive, rather than a normal horror movie being very predictable. But I will say this is probably the most decent horror movie of this year. I'm not going to say it's probably the best one of this year, but we'll go into it further later on when more horror movies come out later on this year. But overall, guys, what is your overall stance of The Last Voyage of the Demeter? What exactly did you like about it? Have you seen it? Was it a good film? Was it a bad film? Was it a cheesy film? Was it a film you would not recommend to people? Was it a film you would recommend to people? What did you guys think of the CGI effects? What did you guys think of the acting? I think the acting wasn't too bad. I think there were some moments where it was kind of cringe, where, it was like, all right, you can tell someone trying too hard. Some of the CGI could have been a little bit better, in my opinion, especially with Dracula. It did not feel like it was like a theatrical movie. It sometimes felt like it was a movie that you could watch on Netflix, just by some of the way the CGI was. So I'm not sure if there was a money issue involved. I'm not sure if there was a issue if that's how they wanted Dracula to look, or if it was unintentional or it wasn't intentional. But that's just my opinion. So let me know what you guys think about this as a whole down in the comments down below. If you guys enjoyed, if you guys did, leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you guys are new. And as always, I've seen you guys on the very next one.